But I wonder if it follows that same logic with plus the skills gear. Guess we'll be able to investigate that in time. And yes, it does actually pay off for you to go over these like little dead ends here. You know it's a dead end, but there are like little secrets and stuff, like little secret areas that are not displayed on the map. If you're now just joining us, good evening. If you're one of the people that were tuned in yesterday, we actually did find a couple of those secret areas that I mentioned. And one of them, I don't know if it's so much as a secret per se, but it was like involved with a much later quest. Because it was like a trapdoor. Oh, because that's how we die. Get out of there. Wow. The game definitely trolls you sometimes with giving you like a whole like a boss spawn of those guys. There'll be like 5 or 6 bosses up in there and they'll all rush you. But after that initial rush, whoa, hey there. After that initial rush, they're pretty easy. Because then it's just a game of divide and conquer, basically. One will aggro you, come at you just like this one is doing. So my reputation level has increased with one of Karen's factions. The faction window... So I just missed up the toast event. What did it say about the factions? I think my shit decreased with one of them. Probably one of the bad guy factions. And I don't really understand why these things are factions. Like, why are beasts of factions? You talking about like the wild animals out in the wilderness like got together in a fucking union meeting to come together and say, we hate this guy? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. That's terrible. I don't understand why it was giving me that. I think it might have been because our reputation with the Beasts faction has decreased to the point now where they despise me. I think that's what it was. Because I remember seeing some text in red. I could have swore I saw a negative number there. Or a negative... Something negative. Something with a little hyphen denoting that it's negative. So here's our other bosses. I know I saw a couple other ones. You know what I should do is I should look at my available skills, especially for pet skills. Oh, I should pick up the scrap too, by the way. Durr. So the next time I gain a level, we're going to take a look at skills. And I'm going to see if there is something within either skill tree that's either a skill that I can cast, like a spell, or if it's one of my pet skills or one of their spells that actually reduces enemy movement speed, or at least I need some sort of like CC. I need some crowd control. I need something that absolutely like freezes them in place or locks them in place or something like that. Because you get these enemies here that have pretty ridiculous movement speed. And we are playing on hardcore, so like I don't really want one of these bosses like rushing my ass and I get obliterated. And there was nothing I can do to prevent it or mitigate anything. Like a nice reliable crowd control skill or spell would be so handy. So it looks like we got our first blueprints here. I remember actually reading about this. So we just learn it? Okay. We don't have the NPC yet that actually lets us craft. We have now learned how to craft Adept's cloak thingy. Blueprints require the service of a blacksmith to craft any blueprints you collect, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, good to go. Well, that's nice to know. I have never actually had a chance to play around with that before. We found another two-handed shotgun here that's better. As far as our boots go, I think so. I think we're still in that phase. We're still in that transitionary kind of phase that I'm just looking for raw numbers right here instead of like a lot of the modifiers. Because, for instance, these boots are obviously a strictly better improvement over what we were wearing, especially in raw armor, right? But like the health bonus here is something that you really want to pay attention to. I feel like that's something you really want to pay attention to maybe like really early on in the game and then really late in the game too. But especially early on, health bonuses are really, really advisable when you're playing a hardcore character. Because you never know, man. That extra, like, 100 hit points that you've added to your max level, or your max number, due to gear or skills or whatever else, that last 100 hit points might have been what's, you know, kept your hardcore character alive. Right here, this is where I need some crowd control. It was really the first one. The first one was the worst. The first one of these boss monsters. Because he was fast. He was able to like pull off his skills pretty ridiculously. Rare heavy boots. Yeah, I don't really understand this this game's kind of gear system in this game, right? Because, like, look at this thing has 25 armor. It's not that great, and it's got a required level of 16. So even if you attained your level 16, like, why would you equip those? Those are worse than any other comparable level 16 boots. I mean, aside from non-magical white boots. Go in the wrong direction here because I have my compass set up all wonky. We're good on inventory space. We just needed to walk back to the middle portion here. I definitely feel like I made the right decision with the whole beefing up our skeletons right then and there. Oh, would you look at that? Ask and you shall receive, yay. Look at that. I said something about scrap or the junk. Scrap. This bridge once connected the Whitemire and Burwitch. If you wish to cross it, you will need to repair it first. If you cannot, you must brave the dangers of the flooded passage nearby. It will take 3 scrap and 5,000 iron bits to repair. So do I even have enough money? Is a good question. I totally have enough money, and I know I totally have enough scrap. The question is do I really want to I'm assuming that this skips like a whole bunch of content, basically like a whole bunch of like other area and terrain that we can pretty much romp our way through, right? I think we're gonna skip it. Maybe I'll repair the bridge some other time, or make sure that there's no achievements attached to it. I'll repair it, but I want to go the hard, long way anyways. I want to experience everything. And I want to make sure that we get everything, like, on camera, like I was saying before. In the previous stream, was that, you know, I'm trying to, like, you know, preserve all of the information, all of the content within the game. I really should stop saying that word, by the way. Content. I hate that word. I'm just not a big fan of it. I think it devalues whatever I'm talking about. The content. How about the game? You know, the story. Those are correct labels.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
So we're gonna sell most of the stuff. This offhand here is meh. Oh, we got a rare belt here. I didn't even see that. So even though this thing has less armor than the belt that I currently have, this one's better. It gives me, instead of giving me a shit ton of energy, it gives me a shit ton of health. And it's really defensive. Oh, no, wait. What are you doing? Don't sell that. I hate it when it does that. I did see a rare one-handed gun over here. Man, that sucks. I just want to go one-handed. But I swear to God, like, I'm I'm just so addicted to the two-handed gun. The damage it does.
Put it to good use.
So as far as the scavenger goes, like,
what's left of my wares.
I'm not really entirely understanding what the difference is between him and the other vendor is, except for this guy's... He's got ribbons. Experience gained. 3% experience gained. Damage to all pets. Oh, there we go. I'm pretty sure... +1 to Rune of Huggarod. This one right here. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that like one of these slots? And this other one, I think, is some sort of rune. Oh, fucking A, hell yeah. Why wouldn't I purchase that? So plus 10% damage to Beastkin. We are fighting them. We also have the Slithering, which gives us plus 10. I'm pretty sure these stack. I don't know if it's individual or if it stacks. Now, that would be an interesting question to ask, like in the official forums or on Reddit or something like that, whether or not these damages stack or not. But we do have the plus 12% damage to all damage for pets, and that's important. And by the way, hey, Crate.
See you around.
You know, I know that all of these guys here sound like they're like gargling cat litter here, right? But can you guys at least have maybe paid another man out there to like do some of the other voices? Like both of the merchants sound exactly like one another because they are the same person. Please, video game developers out there, just get a couple more people to do a couple voice acting just for the generic NPCs, like some of the shop people. You know, it goes a long way.
It's safe with me, I promise.
As far as like components and gear goes, I don't know, or at least I haven't seen like any kind of like detailed analysis about, you know, when is the optimal time for you to use a component, or maybe justifying the use of the component like right away. Contra to what I've been saying, is that I feel like you just switch gear so often in the early portion of your campaign that it's just totally not worth your time. And not only that, but to add insult to injury, you don't even have access to the NPC that actually, you know, gives you the ability to choose whether or not you want to, you know, destroy the item but keep the component, or to keep the item and destroy the component. So it seems to me kind of like, I don't know, counterintuitive to use components early on. I also completely forgot that I did the whole like town portal scroll right here at the beginning portion of this this cave here, but whatever, it was just a short walk. Not a big deal. I did actually try putting my recording software to record our campaign at 60 frames per second, but unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to do probably a GPU upgrade before I'm able to do that. And I have to say, for anybody out there, for my longtime subscribers, that the quality of my videos will be improved, I think. I think I probably will end up upgrading my GPU sometime within the next year, I would think. Listen, I'll be completely honest. I will upgrade my graphics card right now. Right now, if there was a sale, or like, you know, I was able to get like a better graphics card for dirt cheap. Like if there was some sort of ridiculous sale or something. Oh shit, there's another spider over here. What the fuck? I didn't realize there were two of them. Come on, attack him. What are you doing? Go over there, attack him. The targeting here for your pets kind of sucks. They don't listen. We did get... I can't tell if this thing is legendary or if it's epic. I'm not sure the difference in color. Let's take a look. It is... Is Aetherwoe, is this like teal cyan color? Is this the color of uniques in this game? I've never actually, I don't think ever found a unique before. So I don't know. So epic one-handed mace. Huh. I think that's a unique item. As far as the other gear that we found, it's looking pretty trashy. Here we go. Yeah, I think these are unique items. An epic one-handed ranged weapon. So, hold up a second here. Am I like tripping out? So Aether Woe and Mutiny have the same color, but this one is saying that it's an epic. Oh, this one does say epic. You dumbass! It does say it. I'm sorry. I just didn't see it at first. This one it does say epic. Well, I mean, so here's my thing: is I could totally maybe switch over to this in an offhand. I mean, there would be my incentive. Nice, big, sexy, epic item. I'm a little confused by the terminology in this game, quite honestly, because I'm not sure the order of precedence. I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it legendary was better than epic, or was epic better than legendary? The question I have, though, is like, where do unique items fit into that? What are the unique items in this game? Are they the epic items or the legendary items? Are there even any unique items in this game? Or is it just basically like the epic is rare and the legendary is like super rare, and they're basically just completely random? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. There's a lot about this game that I'm just really not sure about. I just don't know the specifics. And I feel like a lot of my questions, rather than, you know, be a total dork and look it up online on some wiki page, or, you know, be one of those guys that asks like a really basic question, or a question about a very basic aspect of the game. I don't want to be one of those guys. I'd rather just find out by playing the fucking thing. And that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm totally trying to discover some of this stuff, but it would be nice to know this. I'm getting to that point now where some of these pieces of information would actually be very handy. Am I not able to get around this thing? Weird. I'm pretty sure I've done this cave before in like one of my previous campaigns that I just played by myself. And if I'm not mistaken, I think this may actually contain a devotion shrine, which is really good. Because that's like, you know, one of the things that we absolutely positively we don't really have control over. Which means to say that, like, we're not going to be able to get, like, devotion points or anything after we gain a level. We're going to actually have to come out and hunt for the devotion shrines specifically in order to get the devotion points. Okay, so that was just a big circle. That's fine. Did we actually find anything? Oh, more one-handed guns. Should probably go back to Grim Tools and look through their item database and find out if there's an actual caster firearm, especially like a one-handed caster gun. Does something like that exist? I just want a ranged caster weapon. And if it's not explicitly a caster weapon, then, you know, at least have it be something that would, like, support my build. Either, you know, in a secondary fashion, or just straight up, you know, through, like, plus the skills. So we need to have the dynamite. We found another section that actually requires it. And, you know, I've said this before in yesterday's stream, is that these, if you notice that, like, here on the minimap, you can see these rocks here. They've got, like, this yellow outline. And if we actually take a look at the minimap itself, zooming in here, Like, this looks different. This looks, like, unique. And the formation, the actual icon for it, is the same everywhere. Like, right over here, here's one. There's one right there. I always wondered, is this, like, something that I could just straight up interact with once I get access to dynamite? Or is it contextual, meaning that I actually have to find one of these like, little prompts here to place the dynamite? How does that work? Because if you remember from early on in the yesterday's stream, there was that area. It was a secret area that required some dynamite. Yeah, this is where I, like, straight up need some crowd control. Oh my god. It's so ridiculous, man. I mean, I'm not getting attacked right now, but still, just the fact that I'm getting rushed. I need to be able to, like, control that to some extent. Or at least have, like, a crowd control that, you know, keeps it in place for a second, so it's kind of like an oh shit button. You know, if you find yourself in, like, some real deep shit and you really need to go away fast and you need them to, like, stay put, yeah. When I was taking a look at builds, I noticed that, like, some people had mentioned that, you know, about like, just different builds in general. I wasn't, you know, specifically looking for Cabalist builds or anything. I'm just saying in general. That seems to be a definitely part of the lexicon as far as some of the skills go. Oh, look at that. We just got ourselves a secret here. Nice. Filled with all kinds of goodies. Fantastic. Oop. I don't really like the auto sort function in this game because I prefer to have all my, like, little one-ofs over here to the left. It doesn't really look like we actually picked up anything that's really worth it except for the epic weapons, especially the gun, because that is going to probably be what we're going to end up replacing our two-handed shotgun with. I think, anyways. I don't know if I want to make that commitment. I'm not sure. Because you know what? I actually do contribute when it comes to damage. DPS-wise, I am definitely helping my pets out with every shot that I take. With every shot I take. I'll be watching you. And because I know I'm making a contribution right now, that's where, like, the whole train of thought of using, like, a default attack replacement, or at least a skill that I can spam. That's where all that came from. Just trying to share the very complex thought. Of theory crafting in my mind. Let's actually take a look at our skill points here. I still think we should probably stay the course. Fuck it. Let's just put 2 into our mastery so I can unlock Will of the Crypt. And like I said, I don't know if I'm going to actually max this out. I may max it out. I think it's almost, like, irresponsible to not max it out, because, like I was saying, with the whole, like, train of thought that the best defense here is going to be a strong offense, and the fact that skeletons are glass cannons and yada yada yada, this bumps up their damage pretty damn dead sexy. And I think from what I saw in Grim Tools is it appeared to scale pretty good. Right, but I just wanted to unlock it right now, I think. And as far as our progress here in this cave, I think what I'll do is we'll finish up our spelunking here. Oh, that's right, because we improved our skeletons. I gotta resummon them. We'll continue our exploration of this cave, and then once we're done, I think I'm gonna take a short break. Because I'm an old man. I need to get up and stretch the legs. The hips start to ache. An old man. It's true, man. I hate it. Aging sucks. Stay young forever. No, I don't mean that in like a Peter Pan sort of way either. Most of the guns that I'm picking up are just absolute garbage. And even if they are desirable, they just don't do shit worth of damage. Like, it's almost offensive to pick these things up. Like, I keep getting just bamboozled. Every time I pick up a rare gun, I'm like, thinking, like, I'm going to be actually, you know, picking up something that I may end up using. But they're all crap. Okay, so where do we want to go? We want to go down this way and then basically stick to the eastern wall here. There we go. I hear monsters. Bad guys are afoot. Ouchies. Come on, get in there. Get zooming on the action. Damn, I would love to zoom in on it, but you just don't. You can barely see anything because it's just so close. So then you become extremely myopic. I mean, literally. And it might actually end up bumping up one or both of the skills for Blight Fiend. Now, keep in mind, I don't really have to go, like, max pets, okay? Like, I don't have to use every single pet skill. Or what I mean is every single summon pet skill. I really don't. Like, I can really come up with a better focused build with just using a couple of them. And listen, you know, I'm all for going with, like, the Zerg rush. Like, I absolutely really want to go more of a Zerg kind of route where I'm just overwhelming the enemies with numbers, but I really want it to actually count for something. I really want my monsters to be able to do damage and not be like a total waste of my time. But with that being said, is I don't need to have like a smorgasbord. I'm not running a salad bar. I don't need to have every single variety of different summons that I possibly can summon. I don't need to do that. Like, I'd rather just have like a couple. Because just look at it like this. Okay, we can summon skeletons. We can do whatever we can to actually raise the max number of skeletons we can raise. We can raise a Blight Fiend. Let's see here. What was it? The Rape Spirit. There we go. There's another one. That's not technically like a summonable pet per se. It's something else. But it is still like another creature that appears here that we can get. Let's see. We can summon our familiar. We've got our Hellhound here. And then I think that was it when it came to all of the different things that we could summon. So maybe I should just, you know, sit my cup down and shut the hell up, because there aren't really that many things that you can summon. But with that being said, man, like if you pump up all of the Necromancers, that's 24 points right there. That's 40 points right there just to have your complete max skeletons. Then how many points is it going to be for Blight Fiend? So it's going to be 16 just for Blight Fiend himself. And then these, I think, are both 12 max apiece, I think. The Occultist. So the moment we get the NPC that actually allows us to respec that, there's another skill that I'm going to get rid of. I think it's worthless. I don't want my Raven here to heal. But as you could tell, if you watched my skill analysis video that I did right before this tonight's stream, is that Summon Familiar is one of those skills that I feel like is kind of shitty. It's kind of terrible. Like, I mean, I'm talking about the skill itself. Like, it doesn't scale well. And as far as its damage goes, it's terrible. It's absolutely awful. the whole purpose of the familiar is pretty much Storm Spirit. Because of the buff. And then Lightning Strike is basically just, so here's the way it works. You have your familiar, right? And it does its shitty damage. Then it's got its heal spell. And then it's got its positive buff spell. And then it's got an actual DPS spell that it can do. And I think that if you were going to go with your familiar here, you obviously want to focus on one of these things. Or potentially both. Maybe heal plus DPS, or maybe buff plus DPS. Or you could just go with one. And what I was thinking is just 1 point into familiar and then totally maxing out Storm Spirit. Just for the buff. But like, I don't really want to go buck wild with shit like that. Like, I want to have, don't get me wrong, I want to have quantity. Absolutely, but I also really want to have quality. But I really want it to, like, be micromanaged quality. I don't want, like, the subpar skills. So, when it comes to the Blight Fiend, I think I may actually end up inquiring about that. Because I'm really curious to find out whether or not, what was it? Rotting Fumes? Rotting Fumes and Blight Burst. As far as, like, which is the better skill. I'm gonna have to go on Grim Tools, I think, after tonight's stream and just take a look at it myself and try to come up to some sort of conclusion in my head. So here's our Devotion Shrine. It wants us to fight a whole bunch of monsters. Precisely. Well, let's back that ass up, obviously. I think the hardest part about doing the desecrated shrines where you have to fight the monsters is that the fact that, well, you have to be like right up next to the damn shrine to activate it. And unfortunately, that's where all of the monsters end up, you know, getting summoned from. That's where they spawn in from. So there's always that really dicey moment where you're afraid that they're gonna basically spawn in and then blast you, like hit you with like some sort of CC move where it just completely freezes you, like for like maybe 5 seconds, and they just pummel you to death. Yeah, I'm really afraid of that. Got another epic weapon here, a one-handed mace, obviously made for a soldier because it's got the +1 to cadence. That looks pretty sexy. There's another magic offhand. This one has bonus to all pets' health. Oh, I want to do it. But I think we're getting close. I think I'm getting close enough to the point where I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable making the switch. We are going to run out of room here. I don't think I'm going to be able to pick up all this shit. Oh, we were. Another gun. Versus cold resistances. We should probably pay attention to our or actual resistances. But again, we're still pretty early in the game where we're swapping out equipment so much. You know, I think I'm going to keep what I have, honestly. I'm pretty satisfied. Could raise a couple more skeletons here. And speaking of which, I think we may actually want to start pumping up the one skill, the Undead Legion. Although I'm not really entirely certain which, what number I actually have to get to the point where I get another skeleton, because I completely forgot the way it actually scales. But anyways, let us go back to town. And I think I'm going to take a quick break here because we've been live streaming pretty much for an hour straight. I need my my Union 15 here, so I'll be back in just a moment, and I'll see you guys soon.